para qué? Ay, no, que no se vaya a venir otro carro, que nos va a tumbar la pinche pared. Mira, se lo llevó a la bestia. ¡Ay! ¡Ay! ¡No vamos! ¿Qué va, señor Rosa?
¡Lo grabé! ¡Lo estoy viendo, compa! ¡Písale, güey! ¡No lo haga, compa! ¡Ah, compa, ya la cagaste!
¡Uy! ¡Ay, chingado! Carro tinto, Sonic. Se fue. Cuando trabajas en el SAT.
Uy, los que dejaron el carro aquí, Dios santo.
No, allá a la vuelta lo deja mucha gente en la calle. Ahí pone también un arroyo grande.
¡Vamos! No hay mecates. ¡Ey! ¡Arriba, súbete, güey! ¡Chingada madre! ¿Cómo son de pendejos, plebes?
¡Ey, súbanse arriba!
¡Arriba! ¡Despacito, despacito, arriba! ¡Despacito!
¡Arriba, plebes! ¡Arriba! No,
¡Ayúdale, loco! ¡Ayúdale a la niña! ¡Por aquel lado! ¡Pinche allá se van a detener! ¡Nomás quédense todos arriba! ¡No se va a ir del lado del carro! ¡Arriba, súbelos! ¡Sube a la niña! ¡Equilíbrense! ¡Por favor! No, hombre, valió.
Bro, mira que está. Déjame ir, gente.
¡ay, no, Dios! Ay, no vaya a ver el carro.
Pues el carro ahí se estrelló. La camioneta ni se ve. Y la gente puerca.
Está todo.
Yo pensé que los señores se iban a ir moviendo de casa en casa y se van a ir enseguida.
Pues está mejor ir enseguida porque
Aquí ya no está más bajo.
nosotros si en dado caso hay que brincarle para allá. En cuanto vean cualquier movimiento, no le podríamos ayudar con
No hay mecate, pues, pobre vato.
Qué horrible. Aquí vengo, miren. Miren a dónde me pega el agua. Miren. Arribita del short. Ya me mojé la panocha. Y la Lucina se cayó y trae los calzones mojados y toda la panocha mojada. Miren, todo como caminamos, todo como están los mochis, miren. Miren cómo están los mochis, miren. Y todo porque no le avisé a mi hija yo de que me iba a ir o quedarme. Aquí me hubiera de haber quedado, pero no puedo, pues la plebe está sola.
Even though there's no substantial rain now in the forecast and the sun may be shining, rivers continue to rise and we will see more flooding. Currently, there are 16 rivers at major flood stage, with an additional 3 forecast to peak at major flood stage tomorrow and Thursday. I can't stress enough, never drive through floodwaters. Don't drive around barricades, and if you're told to evacuate by local officials, please do so quickly. It could save your life. As of this morning, North Carolina has 26 confirmed deaths due to this storm. We know North Carolina families and friends of these victims are suffering, and we extend our deepest sympathies to them. There are more than 1,100 road closures, including I-95 and I-40 still, numerous highways and other primary routes. While road conditions are starting to improve in some parts of our state, rising creeks, streams, and rivers continue to make travel unsafe. 343,000 people approximately are without power, and first responders have reported rescuing and evacuating more than 2,200 people and 578 animals, and rescues are continuing. I know for many people this feels like a nightmare that just won't end. I know many people are tired of the present and are scared of the future. But please know, we will not give up on you.
And one of the deaths attributed to Florence was a man killed just outside of Richmond when the storm's remnants spawned these tornadoes. Now, this is from the vantage point of somebody in a plane that's landing, and look at this. You can see the circular, or the rotation right there of the tornadoes as they were dropping down from that major cloud right there. And when it hit the ground, oh my goodness, they say it was an EF2 reaching 120 miles an hour. Consider this, the peak intensity of Florence out at sea was 140 miles an hour. Richard Reeve now with more on this video and the damage left behind.
The violent tornado caught on cell phone video.
Oh, dude, it's ripping that thing apart.
The Old Dominion Flooring Company torn to bits, debris flying in the air.
Just think about the fact that if I was there, what would happen and stuff like that. It's just, I can't even think, man.
This is what an EF twister packing 120-mile-per-hour winds can do. The company's roof ripped off, a circular pattern easily visible.
Unfortunately, here at Old Dominion Flooring, one employee is confirmed deceased.
Authorities say the man's body was found under some debris. He was among a group of 14 workers trying to take shelter from the twister.
He is a very good man. Like, he'd always lighten up people that surround him.
The tornado cut a 400-yard wide path through a shopping center, twisting light poles and flipping cars. It tossed giant pieces of metal and plastic into the front yard of this house, converted into offices, 9 people trapped inside.
This definitely takes us back to the tornado that came through Colonial Heights back in the early 90s.
A deadly and destructive storm. The cleanup could take weeks. Richard Reeve, ABC 7 News.
Masakit ma'am kasi hindi lang mga kamag-anak namin, kami rin mga kasamahan din namin, mga kababayan namin halos ang nandito. Pag nagtatrabaho nga kami, nandito kami lahat na
Parang wala na nga parang hindi na rescue, retrieval na yun. Dati sa itsura, parang walang nakaligtas.
He was stuck.
The floodwaters rose so quickly, Umahani Ibrahim barely had time to get her baby and 2 other children to safety.
I wanted to go at your place.
It was around 4 a.m. when I came out. Water was everywhere. I didn't have time to pack most of my stuff. I had to save my children and myself. It's not easy.
Umahani sought refuge here in Lokoja city. Kogi state officials say at least 15,000 people are living in shelters like these. Water levels were so high, many had to be rescued.
Some of these victims, we have to pick them even from tree tops. They cannot come down again, so when we receive this SOS.
Central Kogi state is where Nigeria's 2 major rivers, the Niger and Benue, meet. Torrential rains since the early part of September caused them to burst their banks and trigger flash floods. 11 other states have been affected. The highest death toll has been in Niger state, where at least 40 people were killed. Rural areas, particularly those along waterways, are the most vulnerable, but worse may yet be to come. Nigeria's weather agency says rising water levels are forecast to exceed those recorded in 2012, when flooding killed more than 360 people and displaced at least 2 million. Huge swathes of farmland were destroyed.
Let's switch from East Africa to West Africa because there's a serious health warning in place in Nigeria. It's because of floods we've seen over the last 2 weeks. We're told an outbreak of diseases like cholera and typhoid fever is now likely. We know around 100 people have died in these floods, and when you see the scale of it, you can understand why. The Niger River there, the Benue River to the west have both burst their banks after heavy rain. Look at this satellite image shared by the European Union's Earth Observation Programme. This is an image covering a lot of Nigeria, and you can see how much of it is covered in water. 10 states were affected. Mayeni Jones is our correspondent there.
The village of Igagi has been underwater for 3 weeks. Many people here lost their homes to the rising tide. As the tide has slowly started to recede, people here are getting used to living with the floodwater.
The water started entering the houses, destroying everything, the fridges, clothes, cupboards. All our saved food rations are gone, and all our crops for this year are gone. We'll have to wait until next year.
The problem now with all this still water around is how to avoid illnesses. The Nigerian Center for Disease Control has issued some advice because they're worried about the spread of cholera. They say people should avoid drinking or bathing in flood water, but the villagers here say they have no other choice.
The state of Niger is no stranger to flooding, but authorities say this year has been particularly bad. This village of Gungu had not previously had any issues with flooding.
There has been so much rain. And then we also have dams, about 3 dams, and the 4th one, which is Ngeri Dam. Construction of dams, water has been diverted. So some communities are supposed to be resettled that are still yet or on the process of being resettled. And also those in the downstream were seriously affected by the flooding.
The government says communities haven't been resettled yet because the assessment of their needs was done 5 years ago and now needs to be reviewed to fit market conditions. But with more rains expected over the coming weeks, and floods happening here every year, it's unclear what long-term solutions are being offered to these communities.
2 people have died in the UK after Storm Ali has swept across the British Isles. Angela and the Cube team have been following the story for us. Angela?
That's right, Annalise. Well, let me just show you this video here. This was posted. This is not the video I want to show you first. I'm going to show you an even stronger video, if I can just find it here for you. Nope, okay, I will show you this video. This one was posted in Galway. This was posted in Galway by someone in Salt Hill where this storm struck. Now, it shows the high winds, high waves battering the coastline. Well, it was in Galway that a woman died on Wednesday after the caravan that she was staying in blew off a cliff. Now, the winds reached some 140 kilometers per hour, the winds in the Republic of Ireland, where 126,000 homes were left without power. And north of the border, 90,000 homes were also without power. Now, let me just show you another video. This one posted in Tullamore, and this here shows the damage that was caused to tents and pavilions there at the National Ploughing Championships. The event attracts thousands of people but had to be cancelled due to the weather, but also travel hugely disrupted by Storm Ali. Look at this video. This video here posted by one person who witnessed this plane trying to land at Dublin Airport but couldn't because of those storm, those high winds, and more than 50 flights in and out of Dublin were cancelled that day. Now, widespread destruction, widespread damage left, the cleanup underway from Storm Ali. It's now a yellow warning, national yellow warning in south of Ireland, no more orange, so people will be glad at least that winds have subsided.
Relax.